All right, guys, we are live. Just got started here, and going to go off now and make this video here here on YouTube. So everybody come on in here to the stream, to the show. And once again, we will get started here, okay? So everybody here is on the show. Going to basically get this started here. So, can I copy the link? This is going to be a fun party. It's going to be a party, and getting the emails. So my buddies are coming into the show. Josh Clark, how are you, man? This is going to be a great time, great stream. Everybody who wants to get in, once again, I'm also going to copy it to the clipboard. So Afghanistan, what is going on, my dude? Here we go. Hold on. There is the link right there, guys. Perfect. Perfect. And we are going to have some great friends coming into the show. One second. Everybody hang on tight. Ryan, how are you, my friend? Ryan Brewer, congratulations. Lalo Paz, you guys get Zach Wilson. You will be Super Bowl champions. What we have here is a couple of White Claws, and we're going to stay healthy. We're going to drink healthy alcoholic beverages, and we're going to celebrate the end of the road for the Baltimore Ravens. So that's what we're going to do. Thank you, Lalo. I really appreciate that, my man. Same to you. Everybody out there, have a blessed day. Again, the mic's not working, so once again, we have, this webcam sufficing. But we're going to get a lot of different people, coming into the stream. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have some very special people coming on here. I can assure you that. That's what we're going to do. CR, how are you? Everybody, how is everybody? Filter in and relax. Everybody out there. Relax. You guys are going to be surprised with some incredible guests. First is my friend from Changing of the Times. It is Joshua Dash. How are you, buddy?
Spencer, always glad to be here. Excited. We are in division. We're in the championship round of the NFL. We got 4 great teams. I think the Buffalo Bills, the Bulls Mafia, I think will be celebrating come Sunday night. I think in an era of 2020, I think Buffalo fans are going to be going crazy, and COVID, they're going to be getting ready. They're going to go up against the great Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so you think you're the one guy picking the Buffalo Bills, aren't you?
I am. I definitely am. I think this is their year. I think it's just a crazy year. I definitely think they're going to be their year. I'm riding them to win the whole thing. I'll put it out there.
So tell me why you think they're going to go to Kansas City again and beat Mahomes.
Well, we don't know what Mahomes' status is.
What's up?
We got my friend Nate here. Nate's a big Tennessee Titans fan. Look at this, Coach. We have 5 people joining us right here.
Good. That's good.
And we have one guy calling in, Coach, from Columbia. Have you ever met Ben Fogle before, Coach?
Have we played? I don't know, Spencer. Have we? Have I?
He golfs with Andrew Shoemaker. He's a better golfer than Andrew Shoemaker.
Shoemaker might be the worst golfer of all time. Okay.
Yeah, it's not saying much about my skills, Spencer.
No, as long as you don't throw the people's balls back at them, I won't have a problem golfing with you, like Shoemaker did that one time.
Shoemaker's absolutely classless in that regard. But we have Nate Hamilton. He joins us from Mississippi State. And Nate, you're on here with Fogle. Me and Fogle used to go to high school together. But Fogle, I met Nate at a Tennessee Titans training camp when Marcus Mariota was still slinging that rock in Tennessee. So, Nate, how happy are you to see the Baltimore Ravens get eliminated after stomping on your field last week?
I'm pretty happy about that. I'm still salty about the loss, so I mean, just a salty Titans fan here on the podcast today. But no, I mean, it's a bitter rivalry. Like it's actually like really, it's gotten pretty bad. We had the whole. Did you see the whole Mike Vrabel and Harbaugh like meeting in the middle of the field and like chirping and like all the players and stuff like earlier in the season?
I think in Baltimore, right?
Yeah. It was in the regular season. I mean, it wasn't like a primetime game or anything, so y'all probably weren't watching. But there's been some tension, like even like historically. Like gosh, I think 2008 they eliminated us in the playoffs, and yeah, so it's kind of like reigniting a rivalry that's kind of always been there. But yeah, no, I definitely, I'm gonna go on the record and say I actually think Lamar Jackson's kind of a fraud. I think people really hype him up.
There we go.
And
be a Spencer fan.
So no, I was definitely happy. I mean, it was expected. I was expecting them to get eliminated. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and now Lamar Jackson, might be getting this big time contract. And JC, I welcome in Jet Central, big time YouTuber here. I mean, this guy Jet Central, 18,000 subs, and he's got a nice new studio there. So JC, you watched that game, Baltimore and the Bills. And what did you think about this Bills defense? And then what do you think about Buffalo maybe going to Kansas City? Do you think they have a chance next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun matchup because Buffalo can score on anybody, and so can Kansas City. So I'm assuming it's going to be one of like these Big 12 matchups.
Yeah, where it could absolutely be a shootout. And Josh, you have the Green Bay Packers. You said that, Coach. You have the Packers winning, and meeting. You have the Packers and the Bills. So you think Tom Brady is not going to be able to go up in the Lambeau and put the points needed to win?
I think Aaron Rodgers is too driven this year. I really do. I think he's had this chip on his shoulder since they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. He's had MVP this year. I think obviously Brady. Let's be honest. If Brady can pull this feat off and win the Super Bowl with this team, he's the greatest athlete of all time. Is that fair?
Agreed.
Greatest team athlete of all time.
I think he already is. But yes, certainly.
No, I think so because this team, in Tampa now, their defense is pretty good. But to beat Aaron Rodgers, their defense is going to have to play elite. But, it just shows you that Tom Brady can kind of win everywhere he goes,
I go back to this argument. He's finally got receivers and talent around him. He's been doing it, spinning miracles up in New England with all the crap they've always had with him. Like, no offense, Kevin Falk and, you could say Edelman's the only standout. But outside of that, who has he really had? Lost one year, but they didn't win it that year. So
Welker.
Belichick is not a good general manager, in my opinion. No. So.
Well, I think that, what's interesting, JC, is that I look back, though, I think Tom Brady grew up in the right generation because I think that now with offenses, you're even seeing Bill Belichick having trouble stopping these modernized offenses. I really do. And I don't think Brady could have won the shootouts that he did. And I think he's an unbelievable quarterback. But, JC, the AFC East really well with what Tom Brady had to go through. And don't you think that AFC East was so down when Tom Brady was kind of doing his thing in New England?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, to kind of relay it back to this year, you're looking at that roster, especially on offense. They didn't have anybody, man. They didn't have anybody that scared any sort of defensive coordinator out there, like in the least. So, I mean, I know people blame Cam and people blame Bill Belichick and whatnot and McDaniels, but I think at the end of the day, it's just personnel with them. I mean, they still won their fair share of games with having absolutely nothing to offer. And, they hung in there with teams like Seattle and Kansas City, playoff teams and whatnot. So I'm not as down on New England as a lot of people are, but they definitely need to, replenish this roster.
Let's talk about the coaching search. And my friend here, Nathan, about Arthur Smith. I
think the smoke alarm's going off in my apartment. So I'll go ahead and go on. Okay, now it's off.
It was a fire at Mississippi State. Mike Leach, the pirate there.
Yes.
How about Nate? How about that skirmish on New Year's Eve, man? Get me ready for 2021.
Tulsa started it. That's all I got to say. Tulsa started it. No, that was actually really ugly. And the Armed Forces Bowl too. And like I don't even know why. Like I mean, they're not in the SEC. Like we never play them. Like I don't know what happened. Like it looked like we were playing Ole Miss, or as we call them over here, Ole Piss.
Right.
That's kind of like our rivalry. There's always like at the end of the Egg Bowl, there's always like a big like skirmish like after the game. There's always like a brawl. But like this was just like out of nowhere. Like this is just a bowl game against Tulsa. Like it was crazy. We had a guy kick a player on the ground. We had punches being thrown. It was, I don't know. It was pretty crazy. Did you see the afterward in the locker room too?
I did. I saw the kid laughing about it.
Yeah, the kid was like, his name is Malik Heath. He's a 4-star recruit, receiver. But yeah, he's probably, the NCAA never seems to have a problem disciplining us. So I wouldn't be surprised if next season we see some suspensions and whatnot. Like in the moment, it's all fun. Oh yeah, fight, yeah. But then the suspensions start to come in, and you're just like, well, dang, that sucked. So
JC, we are going to. We just gotta, quickly because we only have JC for like 10 minutes here. I want you to talk about the coaching search because Coach is a big Eagles fan. It's looking like it could be McDaniels up in Philadelphia. What do you think about all these hirings so far that have taken place?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, so far I like a lot of these hires, right? I really like what the Chargers did, what the Jets did. Jacksonville's definitely super interesting as well. But as far as the Eagles are concerned, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of names kind of, linked to Philly with Eric Bieniemy, Joe Brady. Who else? Trying to think who.
I think it was Bieniemy that's gonna, but it looks like McDaniels,
Joe Brady,
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles doesn't happen. Let's be honest. They're not gonna pick a defensive guy. They got rid of Doug Peterson. I mean, this goes. I tell you what, I think it's the biggest shame if Eric Bieniemy doesn't get a job this year. So, and I think it's Houston that gets him.
So, do you want Bieniemy? Is he your number one choice for Philly?
I would like him here. Yeah, I would. However, because it falls off the Andy Reid tree, all right. But, I mean, if not, it's McDaniels. I'll take McDaniels. I think McDaniels will snake Howie Roseman, because Howie Roseman is the biggest scumbag, I think, in Philadelphia sports right now.
So do you think, Coach, that in McDaniels, a guy who left the Indianapolis Colts high and dry, you really think that he's going to really fit into Philadelphia and not kind of be a jerk in Philadelphia?
Spencer, I don't mind a jerk that wins. I mean, we dealt with Gabe Kapler. Okay, he's the biggest moron out there, so. Let me ask you a question. Do you think you move the second overall pick for Deshaun Watson? There's a huge story by my former colleague, Brian Costello. I love what he said. I think that would be a great move for the Jets.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So right now, I feel like the majority of Jet fans want that to happen. Obviously, I mean, Watson's, a top 6 quarterback in the league right now. The only thing is, the Jets do not have that much talent, right? We have a couple of receivers, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, a couple guys on defense, but I mean, I definitely understand the draw to get Deshaun Watson, but in order to do that, right, in order to, buy something nice, you have to pay a really big price, which is going to be a lot of first-round picks. So that's always the drawback.
Yeah, but then you guys have like 6 in the next 2 rounds, 2 years. Like you have
So we have 4 firsts in the next 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that actually Zach Wilson's going to end up being better than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, so I want Zach Wilson, to be honest with you, because I just want to replenish the team.
And also, JC, you need like the draft capital. You really do. You need the draft capital if you're the New York Jets, right?
Yeah, 1,000%. Because I mean, all of a sudden, like, yeah, we have a lot of cap space. If the Jets were to go out and get Watson, it's now we have to start paying. And I think he's only a $16 million cap hit this year. But as far as like the next season is concerned, that's when it shoots up to 40 mil.
So, Nate, do you want to see the Texans get rid of Deshaun Watson?
I mean, I've been hearing rumors that they could possibly trade Deshaun Watson and then try to get Trevor Lawrence. I've seen some things like
Jacksonville?
Jacksonville, but also like trying to trade like picks and whatnot. Because like Deshaun Watson, like I've heard like he wants out of there. Right? I mean, everyone kind of wants out of here. JJ Watt wants out of Houston. I've heard. I mean, JJ Watt's come out and said it. Deshaun Watson hasn't said anything, but I'm pretty sure he wants out of Houston. Deshaun Watson's like he's legit. I love. My brother went to Clemson, so and he went to Clemson when Deshaun Watson was there and everything. So I followed Deshaun Watson very closely. I always said he was the best quarterback in that draft. Now Patrick Mahomes was also in that draft, right?
Yeah, he was. But again, when we go back to Mahomes,
so, I mean, I was wrong, but
he was number 10, but he came from Texas Tech. You didn't know what to expect,
right.
And
then Trubisky was picked. It was Trubisky.
The draft was actually in Philly, so I actually met Corey Davis that year.
But like in person?
Yes, it was in Philly. He was at a really bar.
My friend met Corey Davis too. He worked at Chick-fil-A, came through the drive-through, said he was a really nice guy. Corey Davis breakout year, by the way, this year.
He was working at a Chick-fil-A in Nashville?
Franklin, to be exact.
For like a special charity thing, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like where all the like Titans players live. They all live in like the Brentwood. It's like 20 minutes outside of Nashville. So
the nice spot in town. Go ahead.
Nate, do you go to Mississippi State?
Yes, sir, I do.
Oh, cool, man. Sick.
I'm here right now, so yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's there with Wade Davis Stadium, baby. Screw Joe Moorhead.
Screw Joe Moorhead. He was not good. We're happy to have Mike Leach. This is kind of a rebuilding year, but a lot of turnover, to expect when you install a new system. But
yeah, for sure. I really like the program. You guys are going in the right direction.
Hey, JC, I'm going to give you $30 of Venmo money if you can guess Ben Fogel's jersey. And Fogel, just lift the jersey up. Just show him the number. I'll actually give you $40 of Venmo.
I gotta move my camera back, but let's see.
So it looks like a Husker jersey.
Yes, but let's see the player.
Number 80, you're thinking wide receiver.
Make sure he doesn't look this up.
Man, I don't know. I only know defensive players from Nebraska. I'm trying to think of like big time wideouts that came out of there.
It's a very random player, and Ben has an interesting backstory about why he got this jersey. He gets some of those random jerseys.
Did he go to the NFL?
He had a cup of coffee in the NFL.
Oh, okay.
He was drafted. He was drafted in 2015 by the Buccaneers, but I don't think he ever made it off the practice squad during the season.
I'm trying to think. Could it be Quincy Enunwa? No. Tampa.
So he was drafted in.
Not easy.
What year was he drafted?
In 2015. It was either in the fourth or the fifth round.
Okay, I was about to ask what round.
Man, I don't know. Who is it?
Got this jersey, and I follow the Huskers. Go ahead, Ben.
It's Mr. Kenny Bell.
Oh, the guy with the afro.
Big time afro. I think he
tell them the backstory of why you love the jersey.
Well, so I think he last played in AAF. Well, I'm actually in Columbia now. the country. And there's a phrase in which is really popular in Colombia, which is "que nivel," which in Spanish means like, take it to the next level. Que nivel means literally like, what level? Take it to the next level. But when you say it really fast with an accent, you sort of say que nivel, que nivel, que nivel, que nivel. So Colombians just started saying like que nivel as a way to sort of say like, that's super cool. Let's take it to the next level. And actually, Kenny Bell has like a little relationship with Colombia now, with some of the media personalities and influencer, because his name is sort of synonymous with like, that's super cool. Like, we just took this to the next level.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. Do you know what he's up to now if he's not playing?
He was last playing in the AAF. I don't know how much you guys followed the AAF.
The Alliance, Johnny Manziel, Memphis Express, right?
He was playing. Yeah, he was playing for
Hackenberg,
which is the Stallions. That's pretty impressive. That's like some of this useless knowledge, which he
used to have a David Akers Germany jersey that he sometimes wear. Like, Nate, you remember David Akers, the kicker for the Eagles?
I think he sounds he sounds familiar. Yeah.
The lefty kicker. But we're going to talk right now. We got JC, we got Nate here, Ben Fogel. Let's talk about Arthur Smith. Like, Nate, how much are you going to miss Arthur Smith, and who's going to replace Arthur, and what is Atlanta getting with this guy?
All right, so as far as who's going to replace Arthur, I really think the Titans – it would be the most Titans thing in the world to go in-house. I mean, that's what they did with Arthur Smith. He was our tight ends coach. I'm thinking Pat O'Hara, who's our quarterback coach. A lot of people think our offensive line coach, I forget his name, but I think Pat O'Hara will probably end up being our next offensive coordinator. I actually want Doug Peterson. I actually would love Doug Peterson. Yeah, I actually would love Doug Peterson. I know, hot take, I know. But
what about reuniting Tannehill with Gase?
I'm sorry?
What about reuniting Tannehill with Gase?
Oh, no. Heck no.
Those guys sound great.
Everything he touches, I swear. But and then what was your first question? How much? I mean, obviously we're gonna miss Arthur Smith. I mean, he did great. I mean, he had a couple moments. I'll say this: like, the way that he kind of left like a bitter taste in like Titans fans' mouths, because like, I don't know. I think he had a job interview the day after the Ravens game, after we lost. He got on a plane and had a job interview for some team. Might have been the Falcons. I don't know. Like, legit the same day. And, like, if you saw our offense against the Ravens, like, it was the most plain, nothing. Just, run the ball for a second. Like, yeah, I mean, there's no creativity, no nothing. Nothing that we saw it's the playoffs. Like, you're supposed to be saving, like, everything you got for the playoffs, and, like, so, like, the way that he left, seeing, like, such a poorly called game against the Ravens in the playoffs, and then to see him just go off and have a job interview, like, legit right after the game, it kind of leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. But, like, I mean, as far as – I'm very thankful for, like, what he did. I mean, he established Ryan Tannehill as, in my opinion, a top 5 quarterback in the regular season.
In the NFL.
Statistically. I'm telling you.
Spencer, I agree with that.
AJ Brown. So what?
Spencer is not going to agree with that. He thinks Ryan Tannehill is the most overrated. He thinks he's a fraud. He thinks he's a big.
You know what? I saw his video before the season. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about it.
I was predicting a downfall. It was a radio, take. Okay.
Here's the thing about it. The Titans, every time we're on primetime, so anytime that you guys are watching, they suck. Like, we're always good when it's just, 12 o'clock. Well, I'm Central Time. So 12 o'clock, no one's watching except for Nashvillians, Tennesseans, and we dominate. But as soon as we're on primetime, or, the other day against the Ravens, we lay an egg. And then everyone, starts being like, oh, yeah, Ryan Tannehill sucks.
You guys had that opportunity. You were up 10-0 against the Ravens, You had that chance.
Like, we just, at this point, like a bunch of Titans fans, like, they always complain about wanting more primetime. Oh, I want to be on Sunday Night Football. Like, at this point, I don't want to. Like, I just want to be under the radar, because I know darn well as soon as we get on primetime, like, I'm sorry, like, we're not good television. We're just not. We choke. So, but I think that in any case, if you don't agree that he's a top 5 quarterback, obviously he's, re-energized his career, rejuvenated his career. A.J. Brown has broken out. Corey Davis has now,
I think Davis is good, and you guys might sign him.
Expectations. So, Arthur Smith has done wonders for this offense. We're definitely going to miss him. As far as a head coach, I'll be completely honest with you, and I'm not saying that I'm right or I'm wrong, but just the impression that I get, just watching some of his interviews, I just don't know if I see a man that can just command a locker room. And I can't put a finger on it. I can't give you an example of something that he said. It's just an overall vibe I get. It's just it's just really someone that's gonna take control of a locker room. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm onto something here really. It's just kind of the vibe that I get.
Yeah.
I've never even looked at him as a head coach. So it was almost funny to me.
Well, Nate, I also, I agree with you. I want to also bounce around to, Robert Saleh and JC. You guys, what's it called? You guys today hired Mike LaFleur, and this fat O-line coach Benton, right? Coach Benton.
Yeah. Yep. O-line.
Yeah. So talk about the staff a little bit of Robert Saleh. And really, I guess you can go anywhere with this. What do you think about the Jets kind of right now, their roster?
So, the coaching staff, you can kind of tell, what they're doing. They're going for more, veteran guys. They're bringing in – I don't know if you saw what's his name? Rob Calabrese. He's, a type of guy that you would like. He's 30 years old. His first gig coaching was the quarterback's coach at Oviedo High School, which is in Orlando. I'm trying to think of what else. He was with Denver last year.
Is he like Dillingham a little bit?
Kind of. He doesn't have that high of a profile yet. He was an offensive quality coach last year.
Right.
And he's coming over as I think just pass game assistant or pass game coordinator, but that was official today. You might like him. I don't know.
No, he was with Drew Lock and Shermer then.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting, kind of, that Saleh knows about him. Now, I'm a little worried because it is so much San Francisco stuff. So I'm a little bit worried about that,
Mm-hmm.
with Saleh. But at the same time, and then as the defensive coordinator, I'm trying to think of who he's interviewing for that spot as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, so nothing's really been released. Right now, me personally, I want Rashard, and we've talked about that. But man, there's a lot of different ways that you can go, Raheem Morris. I don't know. I heard
Jacksonville.
Who?
Is he going to Jacksonville?
Jacksonville's all over Raheem Morris.
They are. Linehan, Charlie Strong. So
I heard one guy's name pop up. It's I think it's Jeff Ulbrich. He played linebacker for the Niners for 8 or 9 years. So yeah, his name is being tossed around. He was with the Falcons for the last couple of seasons, as a linebackers coach, and he was DC last year when Morris took over. So maybe him. I don't know. We'll see.
But that would be, yeah. I'm excited about these coaching hires. You obviously have Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence going to be taken there. JC, what do you think Urban Meyer is a shoo-in to be successful, or are you worried about him because you do have Scott Linehan and college coaches going to the NFL? They haven't been great.
Well, the good news is that they're 1-15, so if they win 3 games, you're tripling your win total.
Right.
So literally, you can have any sort of, again, 2 wins is an improvement over last season. Now, obviously you want to strive for more. But all in all, I think Myers qualified for the job. I think it's going to be cool seeing such a high profile college coach enter the pros with Trevor Lawrence at the helm as well. So that's going to be sick. But,
yeah, I think that you looking at Nate, looking at the AFC South, you have Indianapolis. I think if Indianapolis puts in Jacob Eason, I think they're a quarterback away from being really, really good. What do you think about the Colts, in this division now with Houston kind of really leaving this division right now?
Yeah, the Colts is one of those teams that's just stacked. Their defense is stacked. They have, they still got Hilton, T.Y. Hilton. On defense, Darius Leonard. I mean, they're pretty stacked. They're just kind of underperforming. I mean, obviously the Andrew Luck retirement just came out of nowhere, and in comes Phillip Rivers with this weird throwing motion. I don't think Phillip Rivers did bad this year.
And in the playoffs, he had a chance.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't say they're a quarterback away from being – you're talking like Super Bowl contenders, I'm assuming, or AFC South champs. I mean, we have the same record as them. It was just – but
yeah. No, I think the Colts are a little bit dangerous. But, Ben, I want to see if Fogel's still paying attention to the stream. He's back. You're responsible because you have the old mute on. I know that you're talking to other people too, and that's fine. You're big timing us here on Rover Sports. But so, Ben, I mean, you watched that Colts-Bills game. Have you been watching the NFL playoffs, this time around?
I mean, of course I am. I'm trying to get a little bit of a break from some of the politics and enjoy some good playoffs. And I'm actually kind of relieved that the Eagles aren't in the playoffs this year, because I've sort of been able just to relax and watch football for the sake of football. We still
and you guys screwed the Giants real good.
We screwed the Giants real good, so that's a winning season for us, right?
We're going to remember that.
Could go, we could go 9-7, or we could screw the Giants. Either way, that's a winning season.
But also, if you're gonna miss out on a Super Bowl and the playoffs, it's got to be this year. I mean, Tampa, Florida. I don't even know if it's going to be a fun Super Bowl week for these guys.
Well, if Tom Brady is playing in the Super Bowl come first week in February, then I think it's going to be pretty exciting for the city of Tampa. But it would be strange, right? You would lose some of that home field advantage, but that would be still a pretty cool moment.
Tampa's kind of that weird fan base though, where I don't think that they'd absolutely take over for a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they don't have the opportunity this year. I'm no Tampa defender, but I think you got to say they don't have the opportunity this year. So you got to give them a chance.
I guess jerseys.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see a bunch of Tom Brady Patriots jerseys in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tampa. You think they're a bunch of bandwagon fans there in Tampa? I mean, I'm rooting actually for. I like Tom Brady now. I have to say, guys, do you guys like Brady now that he's off of New England?
I mean, I've always kind of liked him. So, I mean, I appreciate greatness, and I mean,
yeah. And you saw him throwing the ball with Drew Brees after the game, right? Did you see that video?
Yeah, like with his kids and everything.
Yeah, and all these Eagles fans say that Tom Brady doesn't shake Nick Foles' hand, that he's not a nasty guy. I mean, Ben, what do you think of Brady?
I mean, as an Eagles fan, I can never say that I've ever liked Brady. I can respect him as being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I can respect his game, but from the bottom of my heart, as a Philly boy born and raised, I will never like Tom Brady. It was a nice moment after the game, but it's pretty easy to be graceful in victory. It's a lot harder to be graceful in defeat, and he certainly was not graceful in defeat when a backup quarterback by the name of Nick Foles beat him in the Super Bowl. So we'll see if Aaron Rodgers takes care of business on Sunday, whether or not Tom Brady can show that kind of grace with Aaron Rodgers' kids. I'm not a Tom Brady
Aaron
fan.
hates his family.
Man.
Nate, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a family.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is isn't he kind of like a jerk a little bit?
Yeah, Jordan Rodgers, your boy, lives in Nashville,
Like his brother?
Yeah, his brother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But no, Aaron
Rodgers I don't think Aaron Rodgers is even dating now.
Aaron's doing better.
He had that big celebrity girlfriend over the summer.
He's like McAfee. I mean, he had Olivia Munn, he had Danica Patrick.
Spencer's got all the celebrity gossip.
The Rolodex of Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
All recycled in my head. But Ben, you look at Drew Brees, that might have been the worst like game ever to go out on, you know, in terms of retiring like that. What do you think about that performance yesterday?
It's, you know, it's sad because there were moments in the game where it seemed like Drew Brees could not throw the ball, you know, more than 15 yards. I think definitely the age is getting to him. He's doesn't still have the same physical strength that he used to. And I think a lot of that also stems from the injury this season. You know, it's sort of like going out with a whimper. So that is sort of disappointing. However many ribs he broke, you know, it was very clear at the time they were underestimating the injury. And whether or not he has fully recovered, you know, you can speculate. But it's very clear that he still has his mind there. He's still one of the most brilliant football minds, offensive minds in the game. But it's really sad to, you know, see someone that great struggle like he did.
Let's do some rapid fire, guys. I want to thank Nate Fogel. This has been a lot of fun. So Nate, me and Fogel are in a fantasy league. I'm not, you know, he beats me pretty much every single year because I think that I try to draft just these gems, you know, like I'm trying to think of
hidden gems. Yeah.
Hidden gems, but I make like incredibly dumb decisions. Like Chad Ochocinco on the Patriots, I selected him. You remember? And who did I have? I had Zach Ertz this year, Deshaun Watson. But yeah, I do all these terrible trades. Like I thought Cam Akers would be a stud. I mean, so Nate, how were you in fantasy this year, though?
I mean, I lost. Let's see. I won the first round. Our fantasy league is kind of weird, but I won the first round of the playoffs. And then I lost. I mean, a lot of it was injuries. I forget who was even on my team.
Was it Derrick Henry? You didn't have Derrick Henry.
I didn't have Derrick Henry. I wanted Derrick Henry so bad. First of all, the first, I think I was around like 500 for the season, and the draft I like overslept, so I missed the first like 4 rounds. So like half my team was auto drafted.
Oh, unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have got back your money. I mean, but still, I mean, that's like the best day of the year, isn't it? Fantasy draft. I mean, that's what you live for, you know?
I was tired, and I mean, like, I'm not proud of it.
Too much partying at State.
So what?
Too much partying.
Too much studying. Get it right.
Yes. Studying for the draft, studying for the late gems. You just wanted to give your league a little advantage, right? So then what did you
I mean, otherwise it's not fair. But it's just me and a bunch of, like, it's not too serious. Like, we didn't even put money on it. It's just for fun. Yeah. In fact, I really don't get into, like, sports betting at all, just because, like, I did it one time. Guess what game I betted on? I betted the first time I ever betted on a game was the freaking Dolphins against the Raiders. And I betted for the Raiders to win. Remember when Ryan Fitzpatrick's head was back here throwing it?
On the money line, you bet the Raiders?
I bet for the Raiders to win.
And you were loving Tua.
Yeah, and then as soon as they benched Tua and put in Fitzpatrick, I was like, God, this better not be another Fitzmagic deal. And they purposely didn't score a touchdown, and they kicked a field goal just, you know, to run time down, and then blown coverage. Ryan Fitzpatrick with a helmet grab, his head was legit like this, throwing the ball, and yeah, it was
one of the craziest plays of the entire season.
Yeah, and that play lost me $200 some. So. From then on, but like, even if I won, like, I was just sitting there, like, I couldn't even enjoy the game. I was just so stressed the whole time. So I made a promise to myself: no more sports and money. You know, just enjoy.
That's what it'll do. And Tennessee just legalized sports gambling. But Ben, you talk about the totality of this season, Ben, and now you're looking at an Eagles coaching search. I mean, are you stressed out about this coaching search right now?
You know, you can't get stressed out And I think that's one of the reasons why I said, you know what, I'm glad the Eagles aren't in the playoffs, because this entire season we've been stressed out. The Eagles go back and forth, oscillating between, oh, we're a good team, we're just not playing up to it, to we need to just hit the implode button, sort of start over. It's tough to see, the way the Eagles are going to go. I know that today they interviewed Josh McDaniels. Speaking of Tom Brady and the Patriots, Josh McDaniels, it looks like he has some momentum as the Eagles are deciding. Todd Bowles apparently had an interview as well, a virtual interview today. I mean, Bucks did a pretty good job yesterday. I don't think you can just chalk it all up to Drew Brees' poor performance. I think Todd Bowles and the Bucks defense did pretty well as well.
Yeah.
And then Deuce Staley, which is sort of the hometown favorite. I don't know how many times he's been interviewed for.
Fallback guy.
I think 4, 5, 6 times he's been interviewed for coaching gigs on the Eagles. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the front office, to Jeffrey Lurie, Harry Roseman, and to decide what they want to do for the quarterback position. And as much as I'd love Deuce Staley or a defensive guy in there, you really got to think what the Eagles are going to do with this offense. And if we're going to try and stick with Wentz and we rebuild Wentz, then you really need an offensive-minded coach, a quarterback's guy. I think that definitely leans in the favor towards Josh McDaniels. But I think it's sort of just this big reset, trying to say, you can't get stressed. We have some of the best quarterbacks of the past 2 decades in the playoffs right now, and just trying to enjoy these guys while they're still in the twilight of their career.
What do you make of did you read the Carson Wentz report of him being lazy, quarterback room? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I mean, and you sort of saw all these things being leaked in the final couple weeks of the season, especially when they're deciding whether or not Hurts is going to be named the starter or not. I give very little value to these reports because you have all these different camps who are leaking to the press. The press is going to eat it up. They love this controversy, and whether or not those reports are coming from the Hurts camp, whether or not that's coming from someone close to the front office, it's really tough to tell. I try and not let it bother me very much. It's probably a lot easier for me to brush it off than it is for someone like.
I think it's the Hurts camp that's leaking it about Wentz.
And that's not to say necessarily it's Hurts himself or it's even his idea, but whether it's his agent, whether it's one of his buddies in the locker room who's got an axe to grind, whether it's one of the wide receivers who don't want to take responsibility for their inability to run a proper route or catch the ball. It's tough to tell. So I try not to put too much give too much credence to some of those reports.
All right, so I'm going to ask Coach this. Okay, do you want Carson back next year? Like, what would you do if you were in this situation?
No, I want him gone. To be honest with you, I want every aspect of him gone after reading the Jeff McClain report. I think he's a pompous ass and he's selfish, so he needs to go. He's broken and he's done. Okay, get him out of here. He's a baby. He doesn't like competition. Spencer, you know how I feel about competition. We have a freshman tomorrow. I coach high school basketball. Guess what? The senior and the sophomore aren't doing the job. So guess who's getting the opportunity tomorrow? The freshman. If you don't like competition, go away. Go away. All right. Just get the hell. And you don't belong in Philadelphia if you don't like competition. All right. So say whatever you want. Like, I think Jalen Hurts has taken competition his entire life. His dad's a coach. He dealt with Tua down in Alabama. He's been a great team player. Do I think he's the future? I don't know. I don't think you can evaluate fairly after 3.5 games. I think he's, from my perspective, after 3.5 games of watching him, I think he looked better than Tua after a half a season in Miami. But I can't stand the arrogance of Wentz. And I think Jeff McClain's not on the beat if these reports aren't true. From what I understand, it wasn't the Hurts camp. I hear it was either Jason Peters, Lane Johnson who was saying this. So,
Wow.
be held accountable. You really do.
That's very interesting to hear about it, and that means
it wouldn't be the first time this season that Jason Peters refused to protect his quarterback. So
it's interesting. I think if Wentz does come back, he's going to have more scrutiny than Ben Simmons for his jump shot.
Yeah, and Ben Simmons hasn't really been impressing, has he, since that James Harden fiasco, right, Coach?
Spencer, you know my thoughts on
Yeah.
On Ben Simmons.
You know what? I don't think Houston wanted to trade him to the Sixers because of Daryl Morey and those future relationships. But Nate, you watch basketball a lot. You watch NBA. I mean, this Nate, it looks like James Harden on the net. He actually looks pretty good on the Nets right now, I have to say, for the one game that I watched.
No, I mean, it looks like he's been eating at all the local buffets.
Strip clubs in New York.
James Harden. I mean, one thing about the NBA compared to the NFL is that in the NBA, the players, they legit run the league. Like, it's actually insane how easily James Harden was able to just get himself basically eat his way and go to the club way out of Houston. I mean, and what I find hilarious is that the first two games, I think his first game he dropped 42, and then he came around and dropped like a 30-point triple double. I don't know, 2 great games. Don't quote me on the stats. Basically just to prove that, like, he still has it, like he could still, do this. And then he started basically just not trying. I mean, it was the closest thing to just sitting, to just not playing as I've seen, I mean, he
in general is kind of a damn joke, How can you try? I mean, Coach, like imagine if you're a fan of these teams, like these small markets, like you look at John Morant, and John Morant could just walk up and leave in a couple of years,
I think Adam Silver has a bigger problem on his hand than he wants to deal with right now. I mean, Adam Silver is a puppet to the league. Let's be honest. Every player, he's the worst general manager, he's the worst commissioner.
He really is.
I mean, it should be like LeBron James should be the commissioner because, like, he's just whatever it doesn't matter. BS. Okay, if Stern were there, it would have beat him and vetoed, just like the Chris Paul thing. A number of years back, when he wanted to go to the Lakers. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, so they nixed that in the ass. All right, this thing would be Stern would be running this league so much better than Adam Silver. He's like his puppet. It's like, okay, whatever LeBron wants. Like LeBron wanted to end the season in the bubble. Okay, you got your paid money. You got your money. There's like 5 superstars. The next bargaining agreement. LeBron James and James Harden and those guys and Steph and I think the world is Steph. But like the other pigs in this league, I love Kyrie. Hey Kyrie, you are making Kevin Durant really happy he left Golden State right now, idiot. Like
yeah, and Kyrie Irving just like misses these games. It's a slap on the wrist, from the commissioner. But also, teams just take off nights, and there's no control really of this league, Coach. There's just none. And I think Silver's too nice to these guys. What do you think?
Too nice. He's their best friend. They're in the pocket. They're making him money. Trust me, they'll be back in China after Wednesday. No time.
We're getting deep into the show. We are getting deep right now. We're with Fogel. We're with Coach Dace and Nate. Cheers. And Fogel out there in Colombia. You playing some golf in Colombia, Ben? What have you been doing out there, man?
I've been more at the beach, watching some football. I'm surprised. DirecTV sports packages all come with NFL Red Zone. That was a very, very pleasant surprise. Week 16, 17.
And I don't think anybody uses that DirecTV anymore.
No, but it comes with Red Zone here, and I was ready to pull up some streams on my laptop. But it comes with that. So yeah.
Have you ever watched Dave Ulak before, Fogel?
No.
Davey Longhorns? You've never heard of him, have you?
No.
Oh, okay.
That guy's out there.
Yeah, clown. But me and Coach Dace host the podcast. You could see Coach Dace, his high school's 3-0, by the way, in basketball. I'm trying to get a high school basketball job.
That's a good start. That's a good start, Spence.
And I'm also going to be volunteering at a football job pretty soon. Nate, I want to be the next Arthur Smith, Nate. Nate, I mean, don't you want to get into football yourself, Nate? Like you're down at Mississippi State. You should try to volunteer for Coach Leach.
Like play, like physically?
No, be a manager.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm too busy. Like, I don't know if I would even have time to do any of that.
Fraternity stuff?
No, I'm not in a frat, but I'm in clubs and
Life,
I wasn't joking earlier. I do legitimately study. I'm in college. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. I'm still in college.
Yeah, and I have fun, but
I gotta run. I'll talk to you guys.
Thanks, guys. Coach. Great. It was great. You go in the ref?
I've got it. I'm getting out there right now, buddy.
All righty. Have a good time. Thanks for joining us. All right.
See you, Spencer. Thanks.
This has been great. So, guys, I want to get your predictions, Nate, on the AFC Championship and on the NFC Championship.
Chiefs and Bills.
Yes.
Depends if Patrick Mahomes plays. I mean, honestly, that's really kind of the deciding factor for me. I think it's as simple as that. If Patrick Mahomes plays, I think they win. If he can't play because of his concussion, have y'all heard any updates or anything what's going on with that?
Do you think, by the way, that was a dirty play? Do you think he got choked out? Do you think that was a dirty play by Mac Wilson yesterday?
Honestly, now keep in mind the highest level of football I've played is middle school, Catholic middle school, that is. But from my vantage point, just watching it, I watched it and I was just how did that result in a concussion? I didn't see anything dirty, really.
It's a neck contusion. That's what I think it is.
Oh, so it wasn't necessarily impact. It was just,
No, well, his neck was completely messed up, I think.
Gotcha.
But Ben, what did you think about the Browns yesterday? Did you think they had a chance to win that game at any points yesterday?
Towards the end, you sort of felt that on the last drive when you see Henny driving down the field and you're not sure if he's going to be able to pull it off, and his third and long, that scramble and that headfirst dive. Before that, I think you really said, maybe we get some magic for Cleveland. But after that, I mean, that's one of those legendary backup quarterbacks performance. And they're talking about what other head coach besides Andy Reid would call a daring play like that. And I said, well, Doug Peterson.
With Chad Henne, and that was so annoying. I hated seeing them get it, but I mean, wasn't that a phenomenal call?
It was a phenomenal call. It was a real ballsy call, but it's a lot more fun to see Chad Henne do that at some points against an underdog than Patrick Mahomes. Because when it's Patrick Mahomes, sometimes it just feels like bullying.
Didn't the game feel so boring it felt so boring in the first half because the Browns couldn't get any stops whatsoever. Wasn't that really boring, Ben? How Kelsey just dismantled that team in the first half?
Well, I mean, it's just because they're outmatched. I mean, it's one of the best high-powered offenses in recent memory. And I mean, it's sort of one of the rare dynasties in an offense, right? Where you have that continuity over several years of just an unstoppable offense, like the Patriots or the greatest show on turf.
It's a damn cheat code, and that's why I hope that the Bills can win. Baker Mayfield, he played pretty good. I mean, I like that rule of the touchback, actually. It's the one rule that defenses can kind of get away with still. That touchback rule. What do you think about that, Ben? And then I didn't think it was a dirty play either at all. I thought it was just a clean play on the football.
I didn't think it was a dirty play. I mean, you also have to realize this is for a shot in the NFC Championship game. You see players, they do whatever it takes to sort of, give a big hit to the quarterback. You want to be a little aggressive. I didn't think it was dirty. I think we've seen a lot more dirty plays from the Seahawks. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
I'm also talking about the play where he lunged at him. You know what I'm talking about? Hollywood Higgins, end of the first half.
In the end zone?
Yes. Nate, did you think that was helmet to helmet?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, it was two things. It was helmet to helmet, number one. And then number two, it should have been a touchback. I mean, when the ball goes into the end zone, before you cross the pylon and it goes to the end zone and then goes out of bounds, I mean, is that not a touchback?
It was actually. Do you remember that end of the half? The Browns squandered that.
I thought that was a no call.
No, they called it a touchback, actually.
They didn't call it a touchdown?
No touchdown. The Browns really screwed that up. They couldn't get in that play, and that would have changed the course of the game.
We must be talking about two different plays then. I'm talking about the Chiefs.
Oh, I don't really remember that one.
When was it?
Spencer, you have to go to the tape and
I got to grind out this tape.
yeah. And
But
then,
Baker Mayfield, he had his damn chance to take Cleveland and win that game. I didn't like them punting it back to Kansas City. What did you think of that? Was that the right move to punt it?
I think you need to be more aggressive. You want a shot in the title, you got to take those risks. And you saw Andy Reid take that kind of risk on fourth down out of the shotgun. Everyone thought they're just going to kick it away. He took that risk and it plays off, and that's what separates it.
And he got the perfect look to do it.
Yeah,
that's why I think if they didn't have the perfect look, they weren't going to do it. But then also the Chiefs' defense was still kind of dominating. Like, don't you love, Ben, how the Chiefs play defense? Like, they're going to send the blitz and then they all back away at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, this Chiefs team, Ben, if they win the second championship with Mahomes, it could be an all-out dynasty. Now, Pat's money is going to be so expensive. How many championships do you think Pat can end up winning here
in his career? If he sticks with the Chiefs and Andy Reid, which that's the plan, you think you could see at least 3 or 4, without a doubt. I mean, I think you can see a real Brady Patriots like run. So as long as they stay healthy, as long as Andy Reid's still in charge in Kansas City, I think you really could see
this year is a huge year. Nate, do you think that Josh Allen has a chance next week going to Buffalo?
Yeah, of course. Josh Allen, I'll say this, I'll admit this, that I kind of wrote him off last year. And coming into this year, I didn't think he was any good at all, but he's definitely proven me and a lot of people wrong. And he's done really well. So yeah, I mean, I'm always going to get
deadly accurate. That's why he's accurate now.
Well, and he's mobile. He can run. So no, I think he definitely has a chance.
And I think that Lamar Jackson, I really think that he isn't going to win a championship.
No, I don't think so.
He's going to get worse and worse at running the football, right?
I mean, he can barely win a playoff. I mean, he's 1-3 now in the playoffs.
Yeah, and those wins are against
the only ones.
Against the Chargers, he sucked. Last year, you guys absolutely killed the
yeah. And he had 400 total yards or something like that, but it was all in garbage time. He never made any impact plays. He just kind of piled it up at the end of the game when it was already decided. It's
everybody makes excuses for him.
Oh, everyone hypes on the announcers are always
it wasn't his fault.
Despite Lamar Jackson's 400-yard performance, the Ravens still lose, even though 300 of those yards were in garbage time, and he was horribly inaccurate. It's ridiculous. Lamar Jackson seems like a cool dude. He actually seems like a really nice dude, and I think he's a first-class guy. I think he's humble, but so I'm not hating on him on a personal level, but just
his teammates, man, they make him even more annoying at those press conferences. They do. It's a cocky team, not Lamar Jackson, but
not Lamar, but the team. Yeah,
it's
really cocky.
Marlon's cocky. Marcus Peters.
Yes, Marcus Peters. Have you ever seen him mic'd up? Marcus Peters.
What did he say when he was mic'd up?
He said, I can't remember exact. Actually, no, I think that might have been Honey Badger.
But you saw Will Compton, right? You saw Will
Compton, yes. That's my man.
And Bussin' with the Boys. You ever hear that podcast?
No.
We have a special friend coming in. He's in LA right now, but he is Wesley Kaminsky. He is from, his dad is born and bred Buffalo Bills, and this is our one Bills fan. It is Wes Kaminsky. Wes, thanks so much for coming into the show, man.
Oh my God, is that Ben Fogel?
It is. How you doing, Wes? I was just about to jump out, and then I see Wes jumps in, and I say, I gotta wait a second. I gotta say hi.
He's got some red in there.
You gotta be ready for Rover Sports.
You gotta get ready.
Gotta be ready. And we quarantine. I don't know. You guys were all over my quarantine stream when it was the end time. So we're kind of rolling it back now. And Wes, your own brother went to Buffalo last week for that experience. I mean, just talk about that experience.
Well, I wasn't there. So, you mean Gabe's experience?
Yes.
I need to still call him to catch up, but I got pictures, Josh Allentown signs. I mean, this is
it.
This is the best moment in my lifetime for the Bills. So I'm actually, my dad and Brendan are in Miami, so I booked a flight today to watch the AFC Championship game with them
In Miami.
Because I know what's on the line, and
you're a lucky man if you go down there, man.
So I got to be there to support.
They almost saw that national championship game.
Yeah, so I feel like, how many times am I gonna watch the Bills go to the Super Bowl with GK? So,
and to see all the experiences, and also you could just drive up the coast. Is he driving right up the coast if it happens?
Am I?
Is he?
Are we going to Tampa?
Going to Tampa.
I mean, I think we're gonna figure out a way to get there if the Bills win.
Your dad's dying, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've grown up watching the Bills lose heartbreak after heartbreak with us. So,
I know. And your dad was crying when Andy Dalton made the throw.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just to get to the playoffs.
Just to get to lose to Blake Bortles in the next round. But
So Wes, we have Nate Hamilton up here. He's a big Tennessee Titans fan. He loved watching Lamar Jackson choke. We were just talking about Jackson. That interception was just phenomenal. Taron Johnson back to the crib. How great was
it? Like, when he threw that pass, I actually thought it was a touchdown at first because I couldn't see. And
it was so open.
Then I saw him going the other way, and I'm like, that's not a touchdown.
And no one tried. And also, go ahead.
Nothing. Yeah, it was.
The Bills' offense was not very good either. That's what made it
even when they were tied, it felt like they were in complete control at half, even though it was 3-3. But
the Ravens, you mean, that were missing every field goal? Yeah,
the Bills.
Just to see Tucker keep missing, but that first drive was huge with Diggs and then Isaiah McKenzie, catching that screen pass.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know. I knew Diggs was good, but I didn't know he was like the best player in the league. Good, so.
I mean, it's unreal, kind of what happened, right? With him getting over there.
Yeah, Fogel, what kind of jersey you rocking right now?
Well, you want to take the guess? Spencer already made the.
Remember this?
Who's that? Kellen Winslow Jr.
Yeah, we've been in here an hour. It's Nebraska. Yeah, you were an hour late for the stream, man.
Yeah, I got caught in a game of 2K, and then I lost to the buzzer, and then I just had to run it back. Then I ended up losing again. So I
totally understand.
It was a tough night.
You got to put Rover on hold. And was it a 3-point buzzer beater?
So, if you want the rundown,
this is it. This is what we're here for, baby.
I got off to a huge start. Blew a 20-point lead. Then it gets sent to overtime, and then I hit a 3 with McCollum with 0.8 seconds left, and then Devin Booker hits a layup to beat me at the buzzer. So it was tough, but
listen, Phoenix is a much better team.
Well, we were doing this franchise, so it was sort of a mix of players. But
I gotcha. Freaking McCollum.
Yeah. So.
Hey, it's 2K.
It's only a game.
Life happens, but Wes, I mean, Ben's in Colombia. He's living it up right now.
Wow.
He's celebrating the
How's
Bills.
COVID in Colombia, Ben?
COVID. It's no bueno, but to put it, they've been in and out. It's sort of on the rise. There are rolling lockdowns now across the country. So it was doing pretty good for a while. Well, pretty good, relatively speaking, to the rest of the continent. But They just announced more lockdowns. It's a lot nicer on the coast because it's warmer.
But it's warm out there, isn't it, Ben?
I mean, it's like, 85, 86 degrees every day and sunny. So it's
I never appreciated the warm weather until I lived in the warm weather. So
I got a special guest over here.
Oh,
We're both wearing scrubs. We're both working at the doctor's office.
Bruce the Sports Doc.
You guys.
Bruce the Sports Doc here. My friend Nate Hamilton, I met him at tight ends training camp. The one day you ditched me in Nashville, and I got a Fogel.
Did some having to go to learn about surgery. But hi, Nate.
But Fogel's
Hello.
What's up, Wes?
I saw him at the draft, right?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah. The 20 at Joe's Crab Shack.
That's it, man. We had some crabs. We had some martinis.
the Danny Dimes draft.
That's right.
The Danny, and your Andre Dillard
By
draft.
Andre Dillard, another one of the whiffs by, of course, Howie Roseman.
But
They do it better. Where are you now, Tennessee?
Right at this present moment, I'm in Mississippi in college.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I live in the Nashville area.
Ben is not in Philadelphia. He's in Columbia, South Carolina. No, he's actually in the country of Columbia.
He's in the country, really?
Yeah, he's got the Wi-Fi.
I heard
mean,
Columbia's great. Is it as good as they say?
Bruce, you got to come visit. I'm on the coast right now, the Caribbean coast.
You don't
good
feel like
golf.
you're in a rush to leave anytime soon.
No, I'm not in it. Any rush to leave. I turn on the news, see what's going on back home, and I'm like, hey, I got cable here. I got Red
You're
Zone
not
here.
getting into politics. Nothing you'd be much interested in.
And Ben, how much is it to buy like the nicest steak in Colombia, like a nice 16-ounce like ribeye or fillet?
You could go to like the nicest restaurant and go all out. Probably no more than $25, $30.
Yeah.
We're going to be making it rain out there.
Get a nice bottle of champagne,
Literally.
and
And I want to sell everybody that's outside the United States. I want to sell them a Kansas City 2021 champion of the AFC shirt because I want the Bills next week to win this game. And Wes is actually headed to Miami. Gary, Brendan, everybody's having a huge watch party. Bills in Miami playing against the Chiefs next week, Bruce.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And if we
I'm
win,
headed
we
there,
Kaminsky Caravan going to Tampa.
I mean, yeah, we'll find a way to Tampa if we can get
I'll
past
find a
Kansas
way to
City.
do it. It's like I found my way to 35 below zero Minnesota to see my team watch and beat those dreaded Patriots.
Right, and Joel Embiid was actually at the Eagles party, right, when you were in Minnesota?
He was hard to miss. He had a hoodie on. He thought he would be easy to miss, but he wasn't that easy to miss. He's a pretty big
He's
guy.
like 7 feet tall, right?
At least 7'3",
At
maybe.
least.
Really not small. Not
Yep.
small at all.
Yep, exactly. And you're talking about maybe going to that game in Tampa, Florida, aren't you?
Yeah, we're trying to get some of these tickets. You know, they want some doctors to go with vaccination. So I'm 2 for 2. So I'm trying to get some tickets pretty well priced. And I'd like to see again, obviously the Bills, but it could be Tampa hosting a game at home, which would be something quite interesting.
yeah.
Let's talk about Tom Brady on the field with Brees after. Do you think? I think Tom Brady. That's a little slightly disrespectful because it's Brees' stadium and Brady's going in throwing passes to his team after beating him. I think that's just a baller move by Tom Brady. I mean, what did you think of that whole thing yesterday?
I think he was throwing passes to Brees' kids.
He was
So
very
I don't think
athletic.
that's hard to quarrel with. I think that Tom wanted to honor Drew Brees, and I don't think you could find something negative. We could find a lot of negative about certain things, but I think that Brady certainly spent a lot of time with Brees, and it looked like Brees is signaling that that's his last game, and
Let's talk.
pretty exciting.
Let's talk about the player that had the worst 2020 year. And that, my friend, is the best wide receiver in the NFL, suddenly turning into maybe one of the most mediocre players in the NFL. That's Michael Thomas. I mean, this guy's a complete no-show. He's a complete failure, Michael Thomas. Don't you agree with
He
him?
played like 4 games.
Divisional playoff game, right? You can catch a ball, but I don't know.
Talking all that smack about Drew Brees, and the chemistry is just horrible in New Orleans with Thomas right now. What do you think?
Well, they lost the game. I mean, he's still their best wide receiver. I'm not sure. It's an offseason. He'll be back.
I think he's fine. I mean, he played like he played like 4 games this year. And Drew Brees is a little compromised right now. So
I think he's fine, but there's some people saying that they thought that because he set that record that, he's the best receiver in football. And I think whenever you have a no-show, 0 catches in a game, I do not think you can have that title anymore. I still think he's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. I can go along with that, but very, very disappointing. As you said, he only played 4 games in the round. He was out the whole year, pretty much.
And he had 4 targets in the game, so I don't know if he was open. I didn't watch the film back to see where he was, but he only had 4 targets, so he might not have gotten open. We don't know his health status, so I think he's still great. When he played the Eagles in that playoff game, he was pretty darn good. But I think he's still top 5 receiver.
I'm ready for
the playoffs, though.
All I know is I'm ready for Jameis next year. Take over the reins.
Famous Jameis. But Bruce, before we get to Jameis, do you think that the Bucs defense can shut down this Aaron Rodgers enough for Brady to be in this football game?
I'm not sure anybody can shut down Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau in the snow with that experience, with the kind of year he's having, and also just pretty well rested. He had the bye week, and I think Rodgers is just the MVP. I think he's just on his game. Matt LaFleur and him are on the same page. The running game is really great. Usually Green Bay doesn't have a running game. So I think it's a daunting task, and I doubt, I think that Brady's going to have a serious rush on him in the snow. He's going to be neutralized. He's not going to be able to throw it far. Gronkowski, it's just, I think the Packers are going to win handily. I just have a feeling it's the Packers' year to go to the Super Bowl. I don't sense that Rodgers is going to lose this game. That's my thought. How about yourself?
I happen to agree. Unfortunately, I'd love to see Brady, with the ability to beat Rodgers again, because I want to see Rodgers only retire with 1 Super Bowl appearance. Now it'd be great, because then you would look at Rodgers kind of like John Elway. If he only wins 1 championship, you're going to think he should have had more championships when you look at the guy's career. Don't you think, Wes, that Aaron Rodgers, you look at his career, he should have like 2 championships with how good he is as a quarterback?
Yeah. It's hard. I think I saw that this is his first home NFC title game. So it's like, I just think, with Brady, Brady's sort of playing with house money too. He's got nothing to lose. So it's like, I don't know. The Bucs seem to be peaking at the right time, but I think the Packers definitely look like the best team in the league. But Rodgers with 1 Super Bowl is you're going to look at his career. Same with Russell Wilson. It's like that guy, this rate, I don't see him getting another Super Bowl. He still could, but
at least he got to another Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers lost. And Nate, you're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. No, all I was going to say was that I read something that said that if Tom Brady beats the Packers, he will then have more NFC championships than Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees combined. So.
We'll have the same. No, he can't. He can't. That's impossible, I think, because he's only been playing for 1 year. But the fact is, we look at Aaron Rodgers lost to Russell Wilson that day when Bostic couldn't recover that onside kick. He also lost to Eli Manning when they were 15-1 with McCarthy. McCarthy hasn't been good, but finally they have the defense. And I think that no matter what, this NFC is weak. So I think Aaron is going to get a chance to win. But again, it's going to come down to the Bills or the Chiefs. I think the Bills or the Chiefs can beat this Packers team in Tampa.
I'll be right back.
All right, Wes. Hey,
commercial break.
All right, well, Wes is going to head out for 1 second. We have Nate here and Bruce. We're talking now to Nate. He's a big Tennessee Titans fan. We got the coaching carousel. What are your emotions right now about the coaching carousel and about this league right now? Brandon Staley goes to the Chargers. You have Jack Easterby of the Texans, who's like this running church guy. What do you think about the league right now?
Well, I'm thinking a lot about Philly. There's a lot of talk here in Philly. It looks like Josh McDaniels will be the next head coach. And it's really controversial because Carson Wentz has been very resistant to any type of hard coaching. In fact, he got to Filippo removed. Obviously, Frank Reich was removed, and Wentz just believes that he doesn't have to change, and he's very resistant, very stubborn. If you bring a guy like McDaniels in, he needs to coach Brady very hard, and I think that's what he needs. I think that Wentz needs a kick in the butt. His mechanics in the pocket are just horrific. Terrible footwork, the slowest release, doesn't go through any progressions, and basically resisted coaching. And him and Peterson had a falling out. And Peterson was, I'm sure, happy to leave because it was a tough situation. Again, in Philly, there's controversy because Howie Roseman is, I think, 99% of the people, including myself, believe that the personnel is the reason the Eagles are so bad. They had a terrible year. But it came out at Jeff Roy's interview that he was the one that is making selections, that he is meddling. He wanted Arcega-Whiteside. He wanted the Stanford grad who was running with the refrigerator strapped to his back. And he was the one who wanted to draft Jalen Hurts. And obviously Peterson and Roseman had a rift. And if indeed it was the owner making all those fantasy picks, then Roseman is less culpable because he's just following the orders of his boss.
I agree completely. And before we're gonna head out on this live stream, we're gonna welcome in one more special guest. And once you get one, you gotta get Gabe Kaminsky. Gabe Kaminsky's in the house, and this will be our last guest. And Nate, again, I want to thank you so much for coming in tonight. Nate Hamilton, thanks so much, man, for coming into the show, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all.
So Nate, big guy from Mississippi State. Good content from Ben Fogel and Nate Hamilton. But Gabe Kaminsky's here. He was in Buffalo actually for that experience. And Gabe, talk about.
Did you go to the game? Did you go to the Buffalo game?
Here, get in the.
Yeah, Bruce, I didn't go to the game, but I watched at my grandma's house and then my aunt's house. And look, the city was electric. I mean, this is a team that hasn't been to the AFC Championship since '94. So yeah, it was super exciting.
So you had pizza and wings, right?
Yeah, we got bocce pizza. We got some wings. We even snuck in a little mighty taco. It was.
So yeah, no. You a cardiac cath when you come back from that.
Yeah, I mean,
any beers?
I'm on a juice cleanse, maybe we'll see.
That's great. Well, the city must have just been electric with that win, and certainly a resounding victory. A big 101-yard pick six really was the key to that game. And that team, every dog has his day, and it looks like, Mahomes, especially now that tenuous status, if he doesn't play, I think it'll be. You could walk right to Tampa, but I have a feeling they're going to find some way to get his brain suited back up to his head or something. And I think that's what's going to happen.
We have the whole Kaminsky crew here to
Hey, guys.
How you doing, buddy? Is that a beard? Did I see a beard?
Can you guys see me okay?
I think I can.
I think you're growing out is it the playoff beard?
Oh, I got the beard. Yeah, first time in my life. Yeah, welcome.
Great. Well, last time I tried to grow beard, I looked like you, and then ICE came and removed me. Before I knew it, I was part of the caravan.
So Gabe, you were out in Buffalo. They call it Josh Allentown. Talk about Josh Allentown.
For having
Yeah, Josh Allentown.
Looks like BK is a little bit on the Chinese feet.
Tough frozen.
It looks like BK's got a little Corvid affliction over there.
Josh Allen was electric, and you had Bills fans lining up to take pictures in front of the sign. The energy in Buffalo was tremendous.
I can imagine that.
I went to the stadium with my aunt, and we took a picture. Everyone's passing Bills flags. Everyone's taking pictures in front of the stadium. It was quite an emotion, yeah.
Should we call it, as I'm going to welcome in Gabe, a great friend of yours into the stream. He's never left. The Hotel Ben Fogel. All right. Check out anytime you like. You can never leave.
The ambassador from the University of Pennsylvania, from Colombia. He's part of the cartel. We call him El Chapo. Fogel is in casa.
Pablo Escobar and Betty hanging out here, as we'll delete the stream before Pablo does. But we're going to give this another go. We have BK here on the feed. But here's the thing I want to ask. If Buffalo wins a championship, I think it's got to be a super spreader event. I don't care. I mean, when's the next time you're going to have a championship, right?
I mean, in Buffalo, you mean just everybody in the big.
Everybody's going to be mosh.
Everybody in the pool. Everybody's a mosh pit.
Come on,
I
man.
think so, and be pretty exciting. So, BK, are you going to Tampa?
We're Brendan.
I would love to. You got a ticket for me?
We'll see. We might have you guys be part of the. We're going to
medical staff.
Part of the medical. You can come into the medical tent. We'll smug everybody in.
I'm working at the medical office. Okay, I'm taking history for patients.
That's right. Well, hopefully we get all the Kaminskys there. If
Yeah.
Buffalo goes to Tampa.
No, I'd love
Find some way to get everybody in.
You want to know something that's
Yeah, no, I mean, look, if Buffalo wins, you know, that's what we need first, and for them to beat the Chiefs, and then we can figure the rest out.
Miami appears to be a little down.
Indeed. Absolutely.
Do you want to hear something that might scare Bills fans or might make you excited? Is that, and I'll give this trivia to Gabe Kaminsky. Where was the Bills' first Super Bowl that they made versus the New York Football Giants? Where did that game take place?
Tampa,
the Norwood kick. So it all comes, you circle the wagon, it all comes full circle.
Back.
Right?
It's all
it finally gets retribution. Where
it's all been coming full circle because Justin Tucker is not missing 2 field goals in any season except if it's destiny for the Bills. So
yes.
And Rodrigo Blankenship in the wild card round missed that field goal, or else we would have been in overtime and maybe lost. So it seems like the year
lining up with the planets, and you're right. There is the football gods seem to be in favor of the Bills this year.
And if it's Bucs hosting a championship, but Wes, when you were thinking, there was a moment I was texting you after Chad Henne threw that great punt that was an interception.
That was a great punt, yeah.
And we were thinking, me and Bruce, the Sports Doc here, it could have been Bills and Browns for the right to go to a championship. Then the world would have really almost exploded.
I mean, that's like
Bills hosting AFC Championship.
Bills hosting the Browns.
That would be with another 30-mile-an-hour wind. You know, I just think
a beautiful path, wouldn't it? But go ahead, Wes.
I just feel like the Browns, like that's a game that probably goes to like 12 overtimes. Most tortured loss. There's like the 2 most tortured fan bases ever, so clearly would have been
absolutely. That would be an interesting one because somebody somebody would get there.
There was a moment like when Henne threw that interception. You know, you're like, okay, the Browns might actually win this game. So, but
they had enough time, and Baker. You know, unfortunately, I thought the play calling was terrible. And
the play calling was like Stefanski's been good all year, and then he sort of like he had that really bad challenge, and then he had the one that he should have challenged that he didn't. So, yeah, it was tough. I mean, but also, you know, you don't expect Chad Henne to run 13 yards.
That was really, you know, something that was unexpected. Yeah. And also to throw the ball on 4th down. And I think Andy Reid.
That was impressive.
So many times, and all of a sudden, he got all the chokes out of his system, and he called it a beautiful play. That was like a version of Philly, you know, looking at it, pretty high percentage play, but just to throw the ball on 4th line, to imagine giving the ball back and having the Browns win that game, I think people would be second guessing him a lot. But no, it took a lot of guts to call that play.
I mean, even looking at that play, you know, you figure that they're just trying to draw them off sides. It's just like, all right, they're in shotgun. They're clearly not going to snap it. They got Chad Henne.
Romo just like, he's just trying to draw him off, and he's usually right.
Romo lost his mind because he thought Henne got the first down on the play before. Then Romo was celebrating that, and then he didn't even get it.
But Wes, how about having the confidence to throw with Chad Henne, you know, on 3rd and 15, right?
Honestly, like until week 17, I didn't even know Chad Henne was still in the league.
I didn't know either. And got to give him credit for staying.
I saw a stat that Henne was 5-22 in his last 27 games. So obviously there wasn't much confidence probably for Chiefs fans going in, but
the guy, you know, he just had his shining moment, and he did what he needed to do.
That's what happens when you're a dynasty. You have weird stuff happen to you.
I don't think anyone's talking about. We might have a Michigan Super Bowl with Chad Henne versus Tom Brady.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to go to Henne playing the Super Bowl. I think you're going to sell a lot of tickets with his appearance in that big game.
Gabe, how about Matt Barkley, huh? We don't want to see Barkley, do you? Barkley versus Chad Henne.
Barkley, former Eagle.
Yeah, Matty Barks.
Yeah.
But, Chad Henne, I mean, Tyreek Hill is just such an unbelievable football player. You saw him getting into it on the sideline yesterday. And I think that Gabe, don't you think out there that people have Chiefs fatigue a little bit with this Chiefs team? Are you ready to see somebody beat these guys right now?
I've been ready to see them lose for weeks. I mean, it's such a fantastic team. They won one championship. It's not like we're at a stage right now where they've won a ton of Super Bowls like the Pats and ready to take them down. Look, we got to get the Bills to take them down. We need Hoyer and that defense to step up big time.
Yeah, I think that
I think it's very possible. I mean, it's hard to say if Mahomes is not 100%, if he's 80%. I mean, Mahomes is that team, and obviously Kelsey. That's the one thing that was maddening is how the Browns just didn't cover Kelsey during that game. He was wide open, so I know he could run good routes, but you've got to pretty much cover that guy. That guy's money, and you have to double cover that guy, in my opinion.
Nobody ever covers Kelsey. The guy is always open.
I agree.
No,
he is always open.
So great patterns. He's so fast for a big guy.
I hate it.
Great patterns. Also, when you play zone against him, it's death. He always could find the seam in the zone. So you got to play man, and you have to have somebody behind him. But again, then you got Tyreek. You got, that team has. There's so many weapons there, and Mahomes can run. He's such a threat to run, and it's a killer team. If Mahomes is on his game, it's him and Rodgers if they're up for games, they don't lose, and that's just
I mean, if Mahomes didn't get hurt, the Chiefs were probably going to score 40 points. The Browns were not stopping them at all.
Yeah, in the first half, I was begging for a stop. That was so exciting when they even got one stop. In the first half, dying of excitement. Literally getting them off the field, they looked unstoppable. But I'm really excited because I think that Josh Allen has a chance, though, Wes. He's such an explosive player at the quarterback spot. I think that Josh Allen could really keep the Bills in this game with how good he and Diggs can be.
No, he can. I mean, he didn't have a great game, so
he overthrew Gabriel Davis 100 times.
Gabe Davis also dropped that touchdown.
Yeah,
but you're not going to keep him down. But also, this matchup, obviously the Kaminskis want the Bills, but I think as an NFL fan, there's not really a bad scenario. Either you're getting Rodgers, Allen, Mahomes, or Brady's going to win the Super Bowl. So that's I feel like that's four of the best options that we've had in a long time.
You're right. I think you're going to get great viewership, and obviously Chad Henne, isn't likely to be playing in the big game, but barring his appearance there, I think you're going to have, and this championship week is really exciting. Just like last week, I thought it was really good, great matchups. And even, even Brady against Brees, didn't disappoint. At the end, obviously, through the interceptions. But I think a lot of eyes are on the NFL. I think they're really salvaged the season.
They did have that moment post-game. Brady and Brees Brady threw a touchdown to Brees' kid, which was cool. So.
But Bruce, I really think that Josh Allen, if he wins this Super Bowl, he's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think he needs that this is maybe the best chance he'll have to win a championship in his career right now, is these 2 weeks. What do you think?
You think that if he wins this, he's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yes, he is that.
I just think Hall of Fame just means
Brendan, he's that elite. I mean, you look at Russell Wilson winning a champ. Whatever quarterbacks this young win a championship. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger for about 10 years, Brendan, really struggled every postseason, but it didn't matter because he won against the Seattle Seahawks.
He did. I mean, he did. I just think that he's way too young. Even if he wins this
Yeah, I mean,
Super Bowl,
you're right. He has to stay healthy. Hall of Fame means you got to play 9-10 years at minimum to be a quarterback. There's a lot of good quarterbacks stacked up.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it is what, his third year?
But
Third
if
year?
Matt Ryan would have won that championship, we'd be looking at him as a Hall of
I
Famer.
think he's still a Hall of Famer, isn't he? Matt
We
Ryan's a
look
Hall.
at Philip Rivers as a Hall of Famer. A quarterback this young winning a championship is incredibly rare and special.
Well, yeah, I just
It
don't
really
think Hall.
is.
Right. I think it's excellent. I think it would propel him to, to be looked at carefully. But again, Hall of Fame really means longevity.
Maybe he could turn into Flacco, but that would be an exception maybe to the rule. But
Yeah, well, Flacco was also a statue his entire career. So, like, even when he was winning, it was a whole different era. I mean, Flacco just had like the luckiest 3-game run ever.
And Wes, you look at Manning, who's won 2 championships. Like, isn't that amazing? Eli Manning winning those 2, and I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer as well, don't you, Eli Manning?
I mean, I don't see how you beat the greatest team ever, and then you beat the Patriots again. Like, you got to put that guy in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, he's 100% Hall of Fame.
I think the fact that he played a very long career in New York, no injury, impeccable reputation. You add all that up, and I think that equates Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
No, he for sure is. And, like, I mean, the Giants, I'm sure Giants fans would like to have peak Eli back right now. So
I think so. Danny Dimes is definitely. I couldn't imagine Dimes getting to the big dance. Daniel freaking Dimes, but Josh.
I don't think he's even getting invited to the prom.
But I'll tell you what, Josh Allen is just. I think he's the most special player that Buffalo's ever had in any franchise. I mean, this guy has changed everything. I mean, hasn't he, Brendan? I mean, this year has been unbelievable.
Oh, I mean, it's a surreal year. The fact that the Bills are 1 game away from the Super Bowl doesn't even feel like a real sentence. So it's crazy, and I think the Bills have a really good chance of winning on Sunday. And I'm a little biased, but it's just it feels unknown with Mahomes, and even if he plays, the sensitivities that he's going to go in with. So. I mean, absolutely what Allen has been able to do this season. I mean, he's the best quarterback out of that class. I mean, I think that's, to me, pretty clear. I think he's better than Lamar. I'm blanking on who else is in there. Darnold.
Baker.
Baker is Baker. Hats off to that guy. But I think Allen's better than him. So, it's great.
I think the Bills defense, if the Bills swarming defense, they're going to be rushing Mahomes. I think he's fragile and vulnerable. And I think the defense could win the game for the Bills. I truly do. Obviously, Allen, I think he can control the ball. He can run. And I think it should be a really exciting game.
Brendan, what's amazing is that I don't know if Kyle Shanahan was hired in the same class, but Brendan, you had Sean McDermott and Sean McVay in the same coaching cycle, and now McDermott has a chance to do it against Andy Reid, his old boss. I mean, Philly guy Sean McDermott. How cool is that going to be?
Yeah, no, very cool. And McDermott, I mean, has done an amazing job with that team. To think about where they were 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I mean, no matter what happens on Sunday, the fact that the Bills are able to be in an AFC championship to compete for the Super Bowl is just it's incredible. And the Chiefs are a vulnerable team. I mean, they definitely have some soft spots that the Bills can take advantage of. And the Bills are as hot as any team in the NFL right now.
And I also think it was a very physical game last week. I think that Cleveland Browns game took something out of the Chiefs. I really believe so, and we'll be certainly watching.
And so I'll ask Gabe this question. Gabe, you've been around your dad, who's been one of the biggest Bills fans that we've ever seen. Does he still have doubt? Like, when he watches the Colts game, does he still think the worst is going to happen, or is Josh Allen and this team this year? Is there a different feel when Gary watches this football team?
I'm gonna flip this one to Brendan, who's actually with the man. And
I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to jump in. Like,
Yeah.
I got a call.
Does he still get us stressed out?
I'm not. Yes, Brendan or Wes.
Spencer, I got a call at halftime of the Ravens game, and my dad was, begging for them to fire Brian Dable. So, and Brian Dable has basically invented Josh Allen, and he's about to be a very hot coaching candidate. So, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, he still gets stressed out.
And Brian Dable, the great news is that Brandon Staley just got hired, so it's like Brian's going to survive. The fact that Dable's 700 pounds certainly helps him stay in Buffalo.
Yeah, he's good with those wings.
Looks
and
like
with the
that.
whole, with the pizza and wings there.
And Leslie Frazier and guys, we hope for the best of success. We'll be popping champagne if they win. And Brendan, like we were saying, Tampa is the place of the first Norwood kick. So it would all come full circle in 2021.
Hopefully not.
Of Norwood, of wide right.
I mean, the fact that you would say that name, it says a lot.
Of Norwood, they forgot about that. It's now Tyler Bass, not even Stephen House with Cards House guy.
We're Tyler Bass fans.
This is going to be one of the craziest games, but guys, hopefully we'll be celebrating next weekend. The Kaminsky family is here, and Ben Fogel coming in from Columbia, serving up the goods. It's Rover Sports.
And the question is, the mystery question, how's Fogel's feed better than Brendan's? And he is the president of ESPN. That is something we're still scratching our head about. But it's great to see you, the Kaminskys. Great to see Ben and everybody. Wish you all a happy New Year. Let's reconvene, hopefully after Bill's victory, and we'll talk again next month.
This is what Rover is for.
See you, Rover. See you, Doc.
Yeah, have a great night, guys.
Everybody take care. What a night.